wish for today's service is to help us to see our place of belonging to this earth and in this world. It is a sphere which in so many discernible ways serves as a mirror of who we are and how we choose to live. Because of our own wholeness and brokenness, our choices shape life for generations. And because each being that lives and moves and shares our planet is linked inextricably with every other being, we belong to the world, not only as stewards of our planet, but most importantly, as members of an Earth community. Today, the Green Team has crafted our worship service to celebrate our belonging to the Earth and to ask the question of how we can invest in our planet. May our considerations of this worthy topic confirm our commitments to live lives more wisely and to be of greater service. Good morning. Buenos dias, and welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio. Our weekly worship is where we connect, share information, and inspiration. My name is Linda Nash. I've been a member here since 2017. I want to give a big thank you to all of the people who helped put this collaborative service together. Thank you for your persistent questions, for your work, and for your patience. Let's acknowledge this geographic place where we are currently located, Yanaguana, the home and traditional lands of the Coahuiltecan people, the original and indigenous stewards of this land to which we belong, now called San Antonio, Bejar County, Texas. At our church, we strive to enact a universal love that binds us in mutual care and affection, especially in our work for justice for all and for our planet. Our faith is all-inclusive, and all means all, y'all. If you are new to us or visiting for the first time today, we welcome you to fill out our visitor's card. We'd like to get to know you and follow up with you. Wherever you are on life's journey, we hope you'll find your place with us. And now it's time to welcome each other and exchange greetings of peace. Say hello to someone you know and someone you don't yet know. Thank you. And now, Please stand in body or spirit as we sing hymn 163 in the gray hymnal, For the Earth Forever Turning.
Good morning. My name is Sylvia Wheeler, and I've been a member of this church for 30 years. And I also am a major participant in Celestial Celebration Circle. And we'll be having a ritual this Saturday. Today, the chalice will be lit by me. The flaming chalice unites our members in worship and symbolizes the spirit of our faith. We light our chalice to celebrate Earth Day with these words. Here in this spiritual home is a ground of hope. Hope anchored in a deeper place. Hope that grows out of our personal theology and our shared values. We nurture it when we remember that there are no hands on earth but ours, that we are the only ones who can create the world of which we dream. Blessed be. And now for the Congregational Covenant. We are called as Unitarian Universalists to build the beloved community where all are welcome as blessings. May we strive to share grace and a forgiveness for ourselves and each other, in the hope of becoming whole and reconciled. Each week, we affirm this promise to live and behave in community. We know that this aim takes work, so we are committed to behave as a community in covenant. let us recite our covenant that articulates our promises and binds us together. Please read together. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia. Su sacramento es la búsqueda de la verdad. Y su oración es el servicio. Convivir en paz, buscar sabiduría en libertad, dar a la humanidad nuestro servicio fraternal, para que todas las almas crezcan en armonía con la divinidad. Así practicamos el uno con el otro.
Earlier this spring, our very own Dana Clark got commissioned to write an Earth Day anthem for the UU Ministry for Earth. And she's going to explain more about it and read the lyrics to you because it's very difficult to make all these lyrics come through with the mask. So here we go, Dana.
And being a lover of words, I put in all the words I could. I learned a lot doing this. The theme of it is, it will take all of us to do what none of us can do alone. As the sea levels rise and the wildfires still burn, there are so many people who have nowhere to turn. But each life is precious, of infinite worth. So how do we save life on earth? Wherever we live, we are rooted in place, and we're ready to join in with the whole human race in healing the damage we've done to the globe and trading our heartache for hope. The future depends on the changes we make, and we don't have much time to repair our mistakes. We'll work for a world where the children breathe free, where rivers and oceans are clean. It will take all of us, caring for all of us, sharing with all of us a safer home. It will take all of us, working with all of us, doing what none of us can do alone.
As the
It's time to share our joys and sorrows. I invite you to enter into your hearts and minds in a very intentional way, remembering that ours is a welcoming community that connects us, a spiritual community that enlivens us, a sharing community that amplifies our joys, a caring community that hears our sorrows and holds us in compassion. May we listen more deeply, see each other more clearly, and grow closer to each other each time we gather together. As a way for us to connect as a community, you are invited to mindfully come forward down the side aisles and light a candle, returning up the center aisle as suits your path to your seat. And as you do, please keep in mind that social distancing not only affords comfort to others, but saves lives. Now, let us savor this moment of remembrance while Jaime plays our meditation music.
We have several joys and concerns from our community book. Grateful for my BFF from 4th grade arriving today. Grateful for birthday celebrations. I'm sorry, I can't read, but Carolyn Skrabacz, as well as all our birthdays this week. Happy birthday. There will be a vigil to free Melissa Lucio on Tuesday, April 26th at 7 p.m. at the University of the Incarnate Word's Clock Tower. Please contact Kathy Marston for more information. Lucio is scheduled for execution April 27th. On Tuesday, April 26th, Bill Pridgeon will reach the big 80. 80 years old. Yay, Bill. Please look at the exhibit in the fellowship hall on our former Housing Assisted Association today, UU Housing Assistance Association. It's located in the hallway and in the lounge. Happy news, Turtle's baby Orion was born on April 7th and is doing fantastic. And happy to be back after almost 3 years. Seeing old and new faces is refreshing. Special greetings to Turtle, Charlie, and Tavis. Love, missed you all. Glad everyone is well. For all our joys and sorrows and concerns, may we feel empathy and compassion. May the caring of our community offer a space of deep kindness, loving, and just action. And now we have story wisdom, which will be presented by Allison Hom-Crozier. Families are invited to come to the front rows to better see the video monitor.
Thank y'all so much for coming up. I appreciate it. So humans really love to travel by car, and we have built roads that allow us to reach almost every location on our planet. Our network of highways helps us connect with one another and see many beautiful places. Raise up your hand if your family has ever taken a road trip. Have you ever gone in the car a long way, maybe to visit family or see a park? Yeah. So highways are wonderful because they can bring people together, but they also separate animals from the food sources and the prospective mates that they need to survive. As our climate changes, some species of animals may also need to move to new habitats or to find food. Like humans, other animals thrive when they're able to travel and migrate freely. What this means is that wildlife need to cross our roads. But think of how scary it would be for a deer to run across 6 lanes of fast-moving traffic. Collisions are dangerous for both drivers and wildlife, and it's estimated that 12% of North American wild mammals end up dying on our roads. Is there anything that you think we can do to help? What's your idea? Okay, that's okay. Yeah? Yeah, I hear some. Yeah, we could help feed some of the ones that have trouble finding food where they are. That's true. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, try to make the animals see us so they don't go across the road right when we're driving. That's a good idea, too. How could we help them get across the road more safely? Yeah, like use traffic signals, right? But then sometimes animals don't know what those things mean. A bridge. That's a very good idea. All good ideas, but the bridge is the one that we're going to talk a little bit about today. So fortunately, engineers and conservationists have found one solution to this problem. Wildlife crossings help animals travel safely, and they either go above the highway or sometimes they can go below the highway. Different types of animals move in really different ways. And the structures that we build to assist them, some of them range from large overpasses to tiny little tunnels that a turtle or a frog can crawl through. So we're going to look at a couple of examples from different places in the world. In Banff National Park, a forested overpass, which is the one we just saw, stretches across the Trans-Canada Highway. This one is near, there we go. This one is near Mount Kenya. An underpass was built to help elephants. And you can see that there's a truck driving by, but they're not in any danger because they go in the underpass underneath the road. In Costa Rica, sloths often get hurt on the roadways because they move really, really slowly, so they can't get across the road before the cars come. So they use simple rope bridges, and then they can go across the tree canopies so they don't come to the roads. In Florida, underpasses allow endangered panthers and also other species to move across the Everglades. So you can see that's one of the panthers, and there aren't very many of them left anymore. So we need to be very careful to protect them, and this way they can go under the highways in the swampy areas where they live. And last one, this is a bridge built just for crabs. So on Christmas Island in Australia, they have a lot of crabs that migrate across the island, and they have special bridges that only the crabs can climb up so that they don't get hit on the highways. In San Antonio, city leaders and residents invested their time, money, and enthusiasm to build a land bridge that connects the two sides of Hardberger Park. When you look at the map of Hardberger Park, why do you think we might want to put a wildlife crossing there? What's like right in the middle of Hardberger Park? Yeah? A street, that's right. There's a big road, a big highway. It's Wurzbach Parkway that's right in the middle of the park. And so animals on one side couldn't get over to the other side, and also people couldn't go back and forth, right? You'd have to drive and park somewhere else to get to the other side of the park. So this is what the bridge looked like when it was under construction, right? It was a work in progress, and they had started to dig up some plants. And then this is what it looks like now that it's been finished. How many of you have gone to this park? Did anyone go and walk over that bridge when it opened? I know a lot of people went to see it. I definitely went to see it. To help animals feel more safe and comfortable going across, the bridge is really wide. It's over 150 feet, and soon it will be covered in native plants. Right now, it's the largest wildlife crossing that's been built in the United States. Now we're going to see who might be crossing that bridge, right? Either during the daytime or at night when no one's around to see them. So who do you think this is? Does anyone know what type of animal that is? It looks a little bit like a fox. I don't think it's a fox. A little bit bigger, yes? Thank you for raising your hand. A lion? Oh, maybe a little big for fox, a little smaller for lion. Almost like a wolf. It's a coyote. So that's a coyote that was seen, and this is the land bridge at Hardberger Park at night. So these pictures are going to be dark and a little bit blurry. Why do you think the pictures might be dark? Yeah? Why are the pictures dark? Yes? Yeah, it's dark out. It's nighttime, right? The animals come out at night when the people are not in the park. So this second one here is looking right at the camera. What's that one? Yeah, that one is a white-tailed deer. And that one got caught right in the middle of having a snack. The camera took its picture. This one is a smaller one. This one is sometimes in our backyards, too. This one is all over the place, yes? Do you know what that one is? Oh, it looks a lot like a groundhog. You're right. It looks a lot like a groundhog. Yep. A mouse? Kind of looks like a mouse. I heard someone yell it out in the front. A possum. So I think that mice and groundhogs do cross too. I think we have them maybe in other pictures. All right. I think we have a couple more. This is an even smaller one with really big ears. Yes? A bunny rabbit. Yep, this one's a cottontail rabbit crossing. Okay, and I think there's one more. So this animal looks, yeah, it looks like a raccoon. That's what I thought it was when I saw the picture, because it looks a lot like a raccoon. Do you have other names that you can think of? Yes. A what? Oh, red panda. It's not a red panda, but it might be almost the same size. It is actually, it's a ringtail cat. And they're a little type of cat, and that one is carrying a lizard in his mouth. So he found something to eat while he was going across the bridge. So most wildlife crossings are only for non-human animals, right? They just have animals go across. But our bridge is special because it's designed to be used by humans too, and it lets people walk from one side of the park to the other. Then on the bridge, you're also going to find metal shelters where you can wait quietly. Like if you sat on that bench in there and you looked out through the little holes, you might be able to see some animals pass by. So think about next time you visit what animal you might like to wait and see. Because we know that wildlife crossings save animals and protect people from car crashes, there will be more of them soon built across the country. The government just set aside a lot of money, $350 million, to build wildlife crossings within the next 5 years. And that is very, very good news. Thank you so much for listening and being patient. I appreciate it, and all your answers were very good.
At this time, children are welcome to exit to the playground or to remain with their parents or guardians during the service. Let us now sing. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the power of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Fly on St. Paul's, fly on St. Paul's, careless spirit to yours. And Thomas Martis, born a king.
Hello, my name is Francisca Bermudez. I'm a new member. Hi. I'm here for the invitation to generosity. Our church has a larger purpose to support all of us in becoming more generous in our giving of time, talent, and treasure, all in the context of trust. Today's offering is for our church with a respectful reminder that our annual pledge drive requires some attention. For those of you who have yet to do so, please fill out your pledge form and place it in the basket or stop by the pledge table in our courtyard. For those of you viewing online, we invite you to make a contribution on our website at uusat.org, or you can click on the link in the chat stream. For those of us in the sanctuary, you may contribute to our church in the baskets being passed by our ushers. Would the ushers please come forward?
Hands open to the day. Breathe in, breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky. Breathe in, breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky. Then circling around down to the earth. Eyes lifted to the light, to the light. Hands, branches catching rain. Breathe in, breathe out. Rising like a stalk of grain. Breathe in, breathe out. Arms reaching to the sky. Then circling around down to the earth. Eyes reaching to the light, to the light. Hands open to the day. Breathe in, breathe out. Hands joined as if to pray. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out.
We bless these offerings we have received for our church and its many ministries and activities. May our blessings be multiplied through our sharing of them. Amen.
Today, our sermon is divided into 3 homilies that provide some answers and insight into the question, what can we do to protect our planet? The Green Sanctuary team is grateful to these members for offering to share their journeys toward a more sustainable lifestyle. Alan Chase.
Good morning. I'm Alan Chase. My wife, April, and I have been members of this church for over 20 years and have acted in numerous leadership capacity, financial and budgeting and things like that. This morning I will be discussing some ideas about a sustainable, responsible investing, otherwise known as SRI. And SRI is a relatively small part of the financial markets, but it's a growing sector and has been growing a lot over the last couple of years. To discuss our SRI, it's important to outline the different forms of investing and how each one of those are different. The open market investing makes no differentiations between overall good and what is good for society. That's the largest part of the market. There's also another part of the market known as ESG investing, and ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. And this type of investing is designed to do less harm. And as an example, if a company is improving various aspects of what they do to serve society better, they might be a holding that would be appropriate for ESG. A few companies that are ESG companies, as examples, are Facebook, Shell Oil Company, and Dick's Sporting Goods, which I found those kind of interesting. So the reason why they're ESG companies is that they have taken a stance against selling rapid-fire weapons, their pollution policies, and that they'll eliminate fossil fuels by 2050. Not so sure that I would agree that those are all, that they're steps forward, but they're not what I would like to see. When you look at SRI investing, it's all about the footprint we leave behind and doing no damage. It's very common to find companies that are not allowed to be in SRI investing, such as fossil fuel companies, guns, defense contractors, GMO, nuclear, and tobacco. They're just not allowed to be a part of those holdings. One of the things that we're very fortunate about is the UUA website has some great information on there about SRI investing. And I just did a snap of the computer screen, and it's, if you want to look it up, it's under UU Common Endowment Fund about SRI. And it has such things as the history of SRI, 10 things that all UUs should know about investing, investment screening, shareholder advocacy, community development, and it also has a number of SRI videos. So it's a great resource, and it's right there on our website. So I would suggest that you take some time and look at the website. In closing, SRI investing is an active style of investing. It's never one and done, and when you must do your own research and be involved in what you're willing to invest in and what you're willing not to invest in. But I think if you take the time, it's well worth it, and you'll feel like you're doing your part for sustainability. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Terry Palin. I've been a member here at this church since 2011, and I'm happy to be here today. I'm going to be talking about my electric car today. In January of 2021, I purchased a 2020 Chevy Bolt Ev. I had had my eye on this car since it first came out in 2017. I had previously, this was not my first electric car, I previously owned a Nissan Leaf, 2012 Nissan Leaf, and I really liked the Leaf. It was a great car, but because of the battery technology at that time, it didn't allow for much mileage. In fact, the estimated range was only 72 miles. So it was a great city car, but you couldn't do much after that. By the time I did sell the car, it was down to about 60 miles because, as we know, batteries do degrade over time. The Bolt has a range, however, of 256 miles, so you can see that I was very interested in going with something that gave me more mileage. I have no range worry when I'm in my travels around Texas. I can go, often take the Bolt up to the hill country. In fact, I'm going up there on Tuesday. And I can go up there and back, all with not having to worry about a charge. During the summer of 2021, we decided to test the Bolt, and we took it on a road trip to see my in-laws in Western New York. A trip of about 3,600 miles. To do this in an electric car, it requires a lot of planning, including some planning that internal combustion engines or ICE vehicles do not need to consider. For example, where do we charge the car? It's not like there's a charging station at every corner as gas stations. How often do we want to charge it? A rule of thumb is that you should stop and charge every 2 to 2.5 hours. Not only do you need to charge the car after a couple hours, but you need to refresh yourself after a couple hours too. And to what the battery level, up to what charge should we maximize to maximize the efficiency? You can fast charge a battery up to 100% in the car, and it won't damage it at all. But the battery management software in a car will slow the charge down to protect the car and balance the battery cells. Think of pouring water into a canister. You can pour it very fast, but it will overflow. So as you get closer to the top, you have to slow down so you don't damage water won't spill over. The same is true in an electric battery, car battery. Car makers ramp the power down so that you don't harm the battery. The first ramp down happens at about 60%. So up to about 60%, it's a very fast charge, and the charge goes up fast. After about 60%, it slows down, and the next one that ramps down is about 80%. So after 80%, it slows down quite a bit. That doesn't mean you can't charge to 100%. It just is going to take a little bit longer to do that. So a good rule of thumb is that you run the battery down to about 20%, and then you charge it back up to 80% or 85%. This rule can be tweaked at times. When you're doing a road trip, of course, you might want to start out with 100% of your battery, but usually we charge it for around town to about 80%. We found that the much-needed information from an app called a Better Route Planner, or ABRP. Basically, the app allows you to enter your start location and your ending location. You tell it what charging companies you want to use, and if you'd want to stop and see anything along the way. Then the app will plot your route, tell you how long, where to stop and when to stop, and let you know how long it will take to plan to stop, how long you should plan to stop. Once you have this information, you can add the rest stops and other things, hotel stops, food stops, etc., and the app will adjust itself accordingly if necessary. We looked for DC fast chargers, which are called level 3 chargers. Those are very rapid charging. We primarily used Electrify America. Electrify America seems to be on all the major highways, superhighways, at very nice intervals along the way, so you stop about every 2.5 hours. We had brought our level 2 charger, which we use at home. This is a 240 volt, 50 amp battery charger, and we also brought along with us the level 1 charger, which is 120 volt plug in the wall trickle charger, we call them. The level 1 charger, which comes with all your vehicles, charges at about 1 kilowatt and adds about 3 to 5 miles per hour to the car. So you can see it is a trickle charger. It doesn't add much to it. Level 2 charger, as when it's used on my Bolt, charges at about 7.2 kilowatts and adds about 25 to 30 miles per hour, a little better. Level 3 DC fast chargers charge it up to what your car's system is built for. My Bolt can charge to up to 55 kilowatts, so using the DC fast charger allowed us to add about 100 miles of range every 30 minutes. Over 3 days, we averaged about 4 stops per day, or a total of 13 stops going up to New York. The first night, we stopped at our friend's house and we used the trickle charger to give us enough, a little safety cushion to get to the next DC fast charger, which was about an hour away. The following night, we stayed at a Marriott Aloft hotel, which features free level 2 chargers. So we took advantage of that, and because I'm cheap, we charged up to 100% that day. During the trip, we found stations charging by the minute worked out to be cheaper for us than those charging by the kilowatt. The cost of each of those 13 charges ranged between $3 and $12. Each state's regulations determine what a company can charge. For example, in Texas charges allows them to charge by the minute. And so Electrify America charged us 12 cents a minute to charge. In comparison, Arkansas, next state over, charges by the kilowatt, and they charged us 42 cents a kilowatt. Coming home with a stop in Arlington, Texas, we charged a total of 15 times and spent about between $4 and $16. All told, over the entire trip, we added 765 kilowatts at a cost of $225.47. So we spent $225 both ways on our travel. Think of that, what you would charge in an electric car or a internal combustion engine car, ICE car. We spent a total of 1,304 minutes charging over 6 days of travel, which worked out to be about 3.5 hours extra onto our trip every day. But the average charge was about 46 minutes. But these stops didn't bother us because they allowed us to get away from the road, give us a relax, make us refresh. We could grab a bite to eat, stretch a bit, or use the bathroom. So this made for our road trip much more enjoyable because it forced us to stop. So, would I take another trip in the Bolt? Absolutely. I love my Bolt. I love driving my Bolt. Electric cars are very fun to drive. They're very responsive, and the immediate torque, and when you step on the accelerator, you go. I can shut Mustangs out. Not for long, but I can beat Mustangs away from the board. Don't tell my husband that, though. Why would I do this? It just saves money over ICE cars. We found that one of the things people ask is, how much do you charge? How much do you have to pay? How much did your electricity go up? We found that my husband has a hybrid car. It's a plug-in hybrid. So he can plug his in and I plug mine. He doesn't go very far in his, but it cost us about $30 to $35 more a month to add the electric car, but I don't have to go to the gas station. I can wave as I go by. While you're sitting in the gas station, I can go by. So the next time you're in the market for a car, I urge you to consider seriously buying an electric car. The mileage is getting better. They're much more comfortable. There seems to be, right now, a push to go with higher-end cars, but there are some good smaller ones coming out in the next year or so, so watch for those if that's it. The reason that I urge you to go with electric, it's very good for the environment, and it's very good on your pocket, too. So plus I doubt if you buy one, you will not be disappointed in an electric car. Now, after this, my car is sitting right out in front of the fellowship hall. It's called Oasis Blue. There's another blue car next to me, but I'm kind of the first one, a lighter blue. If anybody would like to, after the service, take a look at the car, I will be glad to let you see that. And if you'd like to test drive it or drive it around the block, I will do that too, so if you're interested. So, thank you very much.
My name is Allison Hom-Crozier, and I'm a member of the Green Team. As I take up the topic of sustainable food choices, I'd like to start with a story about bananas. I was confronted with the unlikely question of bananas at the start of my first year of college. Instead of selecting a meal plan, I had opted instead to join the Student Cooperative Association, which allowed members to pool their funds to buy food and rent kitchen and dining spaces, while taking on the work of cooking and cleaning together. I had adopted a plant-based diet and a vegan lifestyle only a year before I left New York for Ohio, and I was excited to enter the only vegetarian co-op with its reputation for taking the ethics of food very seriously. At the first meeting, I discovered that bananas had long been outlawed, and a rogue pro-banana faction was challenging this policy. As I listened to the debates that followed, I started to make connections among the environmental, labor, and social justice issues that intersect in the realm of food systems and choices. I learned that bananas are a monoculture crop that involve cutting primary rainforests to create large plantations, the application of many hazardous agrochemicals, and a huge amount of water use and contamination. The production of commodities for export is also intertwined with the history of U.S. and European colonialism in banana-growing regions such as Latin America and the Caribbean. And human rights abuses, including child labor, persist within the industry. For more information on bananas and the many other complex questions related to agriculture and land use, I encourage you to access resources available through the Food Empowerment Project at foodispower.org. Each year at the co-op, there would be another round of vigorous discussion and a consensus-based decision-making process, sometimes enlivened by campaign posters and chants. For the remainder of my time at the school, the banana ban remained firmly in place, along with other choices that reflected our shared commitment to sustainability. During the winters, the head cooks found creative ways to season beets and potatoes with the goal of avoiding the tasteless mash that sometimes results from cooking healthy foods for a crowd. Every spring, the biodiesel-fueled truck that the co-op used for produce pickups would get stuck on the muddy roads of Amish country, and the farmers would bring their horses to dislodge it. During one memorable finals week, I made the mistake of purchasing non-organic raisins in a bulk food order, which caused the granola makers to halt production of this essential snack just when students needed it most. These efforts and mishaps felt urgent, adventurous, and sometimes very silly. I recall them today not as a celebration of my college experiences or an admonition to give up a key smoothie ingredient and an excellent source of potassium. In a New York Times op-ed published in September of 2021, sociologist Tressie McMillan Cotton emphasized the importance of talking about climate change in quotidian terms, making this crisis the context for every story we tell, a backdrop that is simultaneously dramatic and mundane. By doing so, we keep climate, and this is a quote, keep climate change in our daily view in a way that makes us ask those questions politically, so that we start to assume that a person should have a plan and that those people will include corporations and political actors. When we choose how to build our bodies, nourish our families, and develop our culinary traditions, we can do our best to avoid participating in the harms caused by exploitation of workers, non-human animals, and our environment. We can also train ourselves and push each other to engage in dialogue, exploring the conflicts and alignments between our values and our everyday activities. In retrospect, I think that is what the banana debates were for. At the time, I would not have thought about our collective food choices as investments in our local and global environment, the health of our members and campus community, and the institutional knowledge and culture that would enable us to move forward. As college students from mostly upper middle class families living in a far less affluent part of rural Ohio, past co-op leaders had leveraged their networks of support and resources to negotiate agreements with the school and establish relationships with food suppliers. I want to acknowledge that those options might not have been available to young people who face more immediate challenges, or to those who had less time and money to spend on the project. I'm reluctant to use metaphors drawn from the world of finance, when unregulated capitalism has been devastating for our planet. Still, the word investment serves an important function. It reminds us that our own small contributions to a more just and sustainable world may be both difficult and worthwhile, building on the efforts of our predecessors and creating a foundation for what comes next. Dr. Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson, marine biologist and co-editor of the anthology All We Can Save, describes 4 principles to advance a feminist language and ethic of caring for the earth: making change instead of being in charge, healing injustice, leading with the heart, and being in community here and now. For me, community is the plant-based bakers who learned to make delicious desserts without milk, refined sugar, or even bananas, and compiled their recipes for future generations of co-op members. It is the group of friends who persuaded me to read The Sixth Extinction and watch Cowspiracy for our book discussions and movie nights. Community is the women who sat with me in the ticket booth at Sunset Station at midnight, frantically filling swag bags for the second day of San Antonio's first ever Veg Fest. It is the activists who blew up our group text with indignation and eventually strategy when they discovered that this year's city-sponsored Earth Day would serve meat. Community is my mom who went vegan despite her great love of cheese. My partner who wears his animal advocacy t-shirts on every occasion and until they fall apart. And my in-laws who arrived at my home last weekend with a cooler full of homegrown greens. As I stand here with another wonderful community of environmental advocates, breathing in oxygen, exhaling carbon dioxide, I know that individual humans cannot choose or behave our way out of the climate crisis. But to return to the financial metaphor, I think the greatest return on investment is our deep feeling of kinship with all the folks who are trying in their own varied and imperfect ways, and with all the other animals whose survival is interconnected with our own. Thank you.
Hi, y'all. It's 10 after noon, and my commitment as your minister is to try to get us out of here by 12:15 at the latest. So I'm drastically cutting my remarks, and I'm going to ask us just to sing one verse of Blue Boat Home. Like our speakers shared, daily activities and needs all have an impact on our earthly home. You too can find your way of working with the web of life to better and more fully claim your membership in our earth community as a natural being in a natural world. And the easiest and most direct way is to spend time in nature and just feel into it and watch it and develop a love affair with your interactions with natural things, and to do it in more sustainable ways, like our speakers today reflected. Let's all celebrate Earth Day as a means to honor and learn from our planet, and as ways of discovering who we truly are as natural beings in this Earth community. Let's make today the start of inspired living and making personal commitments and community investments in climate change. And now I'd invite you to turn in your teal hymnals to number 1064. This is such a lovely hymn. I hate to cut it out entirely, so let's stand, rise in body or spirit, and Jaime will weave us in through verse number 1. below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Thank you. Please be seated for another moment while Sylvia extinguishes our chalice. And as we go on our ways, let us remember that Unitarian Universalism has always been a faith with a spiritual and practical center and an expanding circumference. In our spiritual center, we have a ground for our hopes as individuals and as individuals joined in community. And that hope is demonstrated in our expanding circumference into the wider community and in our increasing public presence of First UU Church of San Antonio and all our UU congregations around our country and on our planet. May we ever grow in deepening our engagement on behalf of our living tradition, from the center of our hope to the expanding circumference of all of our possibilities. May we make our planet a more livable earthly home for now and for the future. Amen? Amen. Now y'all are invited to cake and punch on the patio to celebrate my beloved Carolyn's birthday, as well as all who are celebrating birthdays this week. Let's have some special Italian cream cake, which we got from Nadler's Bakery.